What do you have to report, Captain?
The Heirs was lost with all hands. We engaged and defeated a warbird, but unfortunately, the Romulans destroyed themselves to avoid capture.
The Romulans have a strange conception of honor. Well, there's no time to dwell on that. I have another assignment for you.
We're in need of some repairs.
There's no time. We've just received a communication from a Klingon attack cruiser in the Bela system. They reported engaging 3 warbirds headed for this outpost. Give the Klingons any assistance they need, and make sure those warbirds don't get through.
We're on our way. Laying a course for the Ballast system, Warp 9.
We are receiving a message from Captain Kidra of the Bortas.
The Bortas was one of the first Klingon ships to offer assistance when the Romulan invasion began.
Captain Kidra fought with me against the Duras. He is a warrior of great courage.
Put him on screen. Greetings, Captain. This is Jean-Luc Picard of the Enterprise.
Captain Picard, it is an honor.
The honor is mine. Lieutenant Worf speaks very highly of you.
As well he should. We crushed many enemies together. Well, I bear good news, Captain. We have saved one of your communication relays from a Romulan attack.
Then we are in your debt. Do you require any assistance with your ship or crew?
None whatsoever. We were completely unscathed. And, Captain, we captured a warbird and many prisoners. It was a truly glorious victory.
You captured a Romulan warbird without any resistance?
They had little to resist us with. When we boarded their ship, we found that it had been severely modified, stripped of most weapons and many other systems as well.
Why would they purposely make themselves so vulnerable?
The modifications nearly doubled their engine power. It seems they were willing to sacrifice weapons for speed.
Captain, such modifications would have placed extreme stresses on the warbird's hull. It would not have survived an extended mission.
Maybe they never expected to survive. Maybe they were on a suicide mission.
But a suicide mission for what?
During our interrogations, the prisoners mentioned a weapon of some kind. Perhaps that is what they were seeking.
What exactly did you learn from the prisoners?
They spoke of an ancient weapon, a relic of a long-dead race known as the Chodak. A weapon of ultimate power which would solve all their problems, put an end to their war, and destroy both the Federation and the Klingon Empire.
You sound as if you don't believe this weapon exists.
It is nothing more than a desperate fantasy. According to our reports, their empire will soon be overrun by alien invaders. The Romulans are clutching for anything they think can save them.
Assuming the weapon is real, how did the Romulans expect to find it?
Apparently, they found clues to the weapon's supposed location at the site of some Chodak ruins. Now they're wasting valuable ships on a useless quest while their empire burns. Fools.
Can you tell us anything else about the Romulans' war?
They are fighting a formidable adversary, extremely powerful aliens from the far side of their empire. We know nothing more than that.
With your permission, I'd like to question the Romulan commander myself. I can beam over immediately.
I'm afraid that won't be possible. The commander is presently... indisposed. Perhaps permanently.
Tell me about the battle.
We were on patrol in the ballast system near your relay station when we detected 3 warbirds approaching rapidly.
You engaged 3 warbirds with a single ship.
I wouldn't care to face those odds even in the Enterprise.
We were ready for an honorable death as we closed with their lead ship. We locked our disruptors, prepared to fire, and they fled. The cowards ran from us even though they held the advantage.
They didn't even attempt to attack the station?
They were concerned only with escape. By the time we disabled their first ship, the other 2 were already out of range.
Were you able to track them?
Yes, for a while. We believe they were heading for the Zatannis Nebula.
We appreciate your help, Kedra. Thank you. Kapla.
Success to you as well, Picard. Good hunting.
Captain, what do you have to report?
The Bortas chased off the warbirds.
1 Klingon ship chased off 3 warbirds?
Not only that, it disabled and captured one of them.
I think I'll send Captain Kedra a bottle of Saurian brandy along with my thanks.
He certainly earned it. According to his prisoners, the Romulans are not interested in invading the Federation, at least not yet. Apparently they're heading for the Zatannis Nebula.
That nebula has no strategic value. What are they looking for?
We believe they're seeking an ancient weapon built by the Chodak.
The Chodak? I've heard the stories. Some kind of star-eating superweapon hidden in the nebula. But they're just stories. The Romulans wouldn't risk war over a myth.
But the Romulans never do anything without considering all the consequences. Perhaps there's more truth to these stories than we realized.
All right, Captain. A pair of Klingon attack cruisers have just arrived in the sector to support us. I think we can manage without you. If you want to investigate this Chodak weapon further, you're free to do so.
Thank you, Commander. I intend to get to the bottom of this.
Sir, we are receiving a signal from Starfleet. It is Admiral Williams.
On screen. Greetings, Admiral. What can we do for you?
Captain, Commander Chan notified us of your findings. Your suspicions that this was not a full-scale invasion appear to be correct. The Romulan incursion appears to be limited to the sectors between the neutral zone and the Zatannis Nebula.
We must find out what they're really after.
Agreed. The recurring thread through all this seems to be the Chodak. Do you have any ideas where to begin?
Most of the surviving Chodak ruins are in Romulan space. However, we recently discovered a new site on Phrygius. There's also a Vulcan archaeologist, Shaynok, who's an expert on the Chodak. I'll attempt to contact him as well.
All right, Captain. Good luck. Williams out.
What could the Romulans be up to?
They are not eager to fight. Their actions seem somewhat desperate.
I'm beginning to wonder if this really is an invasion after all.
According to the information provided by Captain Kedra, the modifications to the warbirds will render the ships unusable within a few weeks. That would seem inconsistent with the needs of a long-term occupational force.
But they made those modifications for a reason. Speed. It looks like they're trying to get to the Zatannis Nebula as fast as they can.
Agreed. The question is, why?
What are your orders, Captain?
Set course for Horst 3, Warp 5.
Aye, sir.
Engage.
Captain, an urgent message is coming in from Chancellor Larac of Frigis.
On screen.
Captain Picard, a Romulan warbird has invaded our system. You promised to defend us. Please come as quickly as you can.
Set course for Frigis. Warp 8.
Aye, sir.
Engage.
Warning. Entering nebula. Entering Federation space.
Captain's log supplemental. We have arrived at Frigis in response to a distress call from Chancellor Larac. Although he claims to have been attacked by the Romulans, we can find no evidence that any battle ever took place.
Sensors are picking up a vessel.
Yellow alert.
A Romulan warbird is on sensors. Locking weapons. We are being hailed. Torpedo locked. We have been hit. Direct hit.
Fire.
We are being hailed.
Savor your victory while you can, Captain. You will find it short-lived.
The enemy has engaged its self-destruct sequence. The Romulan warbird has been destroyed.
I cannot begin to thank you for coming to our rescue. If I can help you in any way, please let me know.
I'd like to beam a team down to your planet and talk with you more directly.
You and your crew will be most welcome.
Beam down coordinates selected.
Thank you for allowing us to beam down.
I welcome you in the lawgiver's name. Although the sects have refused to help, I am more than willing to assist you.
How did the Romulans manage to find you?
The Garidians and the Romulans are allies. The commander of that Garidian ship you met must have gone back and told them.
Why would the Romulans be interested in Frigis?
At first, we thought they wanted to help their allies by forcing us to return to Garrett, but instead, they demanded information about the Chodak and the Unity device. We remained silent so they couldn't find us.
Your world appears to be intact. I trust there was no damage from the Romulan vessel.
The Romulans were not as courteous as you were, so we never let down our defenses. They were unable to penetrate our chameleon field, and they left without inflicting any damage.
The ancient Chodak have suddenly assumed great importance in galactic affairs. We were hoping you could tell us some more about them.
Our people have always been fascinated by the ruins found when our ancestors arrived here. Over the years, we have learned many things about the Chodak society and technology.
What do you know about Chodak society?
Their empire spanned this quadrant, encompassing tens of thousands of star systems. It endured for 100,000 years. Then, 900,000 years ago, it disintegrated, almost overnight.
It's unusual for such an immense empire to last that long. What was the secret of their success?
They had a talent for administration. They had an entire planet called Alanor, from which they ruled their empire. The bureaucracy must have been colossal.
What else do you know about Chodak history?
We believe that the group which settled here and built these structures was not from the mainstream of Chodak society.
Why do you say that?
For one reason, this is a very small base. The structures the Chodak built could not have held more than a few thousand people. This could not have been a major colony.
And for another?
The Chodak settlers often refer to Alinor as the seat of evil, and frequently said that the Unity device, the Empire's chief means of control, had to be destroyed.
Perhaps the settlers here were similar to your own ancestors, fleeing an established society to pursue a different vision.
Perhaps, but I suspect the Chodak here played a far more active role. This outpost was only inhabited for a few decades, which coincided almost exactly with the end of the Empire as a whole.
These reasons are not strong grounds for believing the settlers here were rebels.
There are 1,000 more small clues, all pointing to the same conclusion. But there is one major mystery which could resolve the question completely.
What is this mystery?
A century ago, our scientists found a Chodak data crystal. We believe it contains the answers we seek, but unfortunately, the crystal is extremely old and fragile. Our equipment is not sophisticated enough to read it without destroying it.
Perhaps the Enterprise's computers could read your Chodak data crystal safely.
Very well. I will entrust the crystal to you. All I ask is that you share whatever you discover to satisfy our own curiosity.
What do you know about Chodak technology?
We do not fully understand the principles behind it, but we've been able to make some of it function. The chameleon field that disguises our world, for example, is a Chodak invention.
What else have you discovered about Chodak technology?
They had an unusual way of navigating that seemed to be based on how long it took to travel between different points at a particular speed. Unfortunately, I don't know how they defined their basic units, so I can't be more specific.
Is there anything else you can tell me about Chodak technology?
They created special shielding materials which could block out any transporter beams we know of, yet their own transporters could pass through them easily.
What else have you discovered about Chodak technology?
They use devices similar to isolinear rods as keys to many of their machines. Here, let me give you one.
How does it work?
When this programmer is twisted around the rod's end, it can alter the rod's settings, making it a sort of all-purpose key. If you use the programmer properly, you can activate almost any Chodak machine or computer.
Is there anything else you can tell me about Chodak technology?
The crowning glory of their technology was something called the Unity device that made it possible for them to control their far-flung empire.
Do you have any more details about this Unity device?
I think it was a superweapon with almost unlimited powers. When the Chodak lost it somehow, their empire fell apart almost immediately.
If you'll excuse me, I have other duties to attend to. Perhaps we can talk again later.
As you wish. May the spirit of the lawgiver guide your path through the stars.
We've done all we can here. Beam us up. Chancellor Larac was most helpful. We now know what the Romulans are seeking.
Do you think the Romulans have really found the Unity device?
We know already if they had.
The device is that powerful?
I'm not sure, but without it, an empire which spanned this entire section of the galaxy disintegrated overnight.
What are your orders, Captain?
Set course for Horst 3, Warp 5.
Aye, sir.
Engage.